To the top left-hand side, we have got ourselves the red Terran player from Storm Gaming. This, my friends, is GuMiho. And he's going up against the blue Protoss player from Splice in the bottom right side of the map. It is Stats. Okay then, apparently on career we only get 50 FPS. That's not fun. What on earth's going on today? Is today just one of those days? You know what it is? It's so warm today. Is anyone else in the UK at the minute? Or just anywhere in Europe where it's warm? Because god damn, it is so warm. It is so warm at the moment. Guys, do let me know if the microphone's okay. I know I've had to fiddle with it because I was casting on base trade last night. It's kind of pissing me off because apparently whatever I do, I just have to completely change my mic settings every single time. Now I'm crazy loud. Okay, let me listen for a sec. Isn't that better? You can hear me even more now. Man, my mic does sound muffled. Rifkin was saying this yesterday. He was like, dude, your mic's just so muffled. It sounds really bad. It sounds really shitty quality. I don't know why. It sounds like I've got like... Did it used to sound like this? It feels like it's just gotten really bad in the last week or so. Like... Not even in maybe in like last month, I don't know. I just feel as though I'm just suddenly really muffled and it just isn't working out. I really don't know, like, is it really being this bad quality all the time? I feel like I've got to try some new stuff out, like, it just feels as though everything's going wrong. I feel like I've maybe pressed something. I don't know. I hate sound issues. Sound issues are probably like the biggest bane of my life. I'm like, oh my god, you know, it's one of those things where it's like, god damn it, why have we got sound issues again? You know, I feel as though I can just never figure this stuff out. So, yeah. Feels bad, man. Feels freaking bad, man. 26 degrees for you, Jibs. Dude, it's so warm here today. I don't know how warm it actually is, but oh my god. I am so glad that I brought shorts to my studio because as soon as I got here, I was like, yep, time for some shorts, guys. Like, there is no way I'm going to sit in jeans and cast any of this because I am just going to die of heat. So I got my shorts on. It's a nice sunny day. We've got the window wide open so everyone can hear us shouting about StarCraft outside, which is even better. So that's very exciting too. As we kick off into this best of 3. Haven't really talked much about the game, but not much to say. Losing the Reaper is kind of an annoyance for GuMiho. Otherwise, you know, everything's looking pretty straight up. There is a Twilight Council, which is a bit different. You know, we're still used to seeing a lot of Stargate openers a lot of time. So, yeah, just going to be seeing this Twilight Council on the way up. And, just going to be seeing how that goes for him as GuMiho just started a cycle initially. Couple Marines on the way out to get things going. What's up, Tiger Stuff for the Tier 10? Do I play WoW? Not at the moment. I played WoW for the first year or so of Legion. And then I quit because I wasn't having so much fun and I wasn't having a great time in real life, so I quit to focus up on casting a lot more. I played again a couple of weeks ago to do like the August quest line, but I started to play and then I got into Far Cry instead, and yeah, I started to use it as my filler game and then I just didn't need to because I played Far Cry and then I got into Fortnite, so yeah, not at the moment, but I have played WoW before. I'm a big WoW player in the past, and I'll probably play when the new expansion comes out as well, so you're going to be seeing a couple of shield batteries, gateways, a robot facility, you know, all the usual here from Stats. This blink opener is really just to allow him to get some map control here, get some stalkers across the map and poke and prod. And I imagine it's going to help him to go up to 3 bases nice and easily. So as GuMiho sets up his extra barracks, he is going to be playing some bio. I mean, that is obviously something which you say and it should be kind of obvious in, you know, PvT. But it's GuMiho, right? And, you know, GuMiho is the play. He will come out and just start playing, you know, 5 factories, mech army against the against the Protoss. So, as we do see this medevac moving down to the south side, we have a couple of Cyclones. Going to be seeing what they can maybe get up to here in the next few moments. A few Stalkers just sitting on the edge of this base. You do see the third Nexus coming down. He's actually going to take it in the back, so you'll have access to both gases as usual, but you'll only have access to 4 of 8 manual patches. So it's a little bit of a safer base. It means you don't have to extend yourself way out here just yet. It makes it like you can really just sit on the main and natural as though you just have 2 bases to defend. Yes, eventually, you know, things can sneak around here into that back base, but then it's also much harder to get them back out. And so if you're stuck in there, it's generally a position you don't want to commit into as the Terran player so often. As we do see the two Cyclones, they haven't really found a chance to drop, but maybe now, because Stalker's moving through the middle, and the Marine will see this, and as soon as he identifies that boom, he's going to move that medevac in towards the main base. I love that he keeps the boost. You know, he was pretty close anyway, so keeps the boost active so that he can get the medevac out ASAP when necessary. And the Stalkers actually have to recall home. He's going to get out of there, doesn't risk it, because he knows it's a Blink Stalker play, and he knows that if he does stick around, even just to try and kill this pylon, the Stalkers are going to be under that medevac no matter how much he's boosting. So that's a really good play by GuMiho here, just really mature play. You know, it's one of those plays where it's like, okay, he understands the situation, he's responded perfectly to this scenario exactly. You know, if this was a Stargate open and Blink wasn't done for another 30 seconds, GuMiho will kill that pylon. Unless there's a Phoenix push the medevac away or something, right? But, you know, it's really cool to see that he can identify what this build is, he can know, therefore, that he has to leave it a little bit sooner. And to actually see him doing that, of course, shows you that we really are already in our first game of the day, seeing some of the highest quality play in StarCraft 2. Now, stats goes up into +1 attack and +1 armor, +1 attack coming up from GuMiho as well with the stim pack. Just over halfway done, triple racks coming down in the main base means this is 5 barracks in total. There's a reactor on the starport and a reactor on the factory. Finishing up here very soon will allow for GuMiho to just really be into this mid-game setup. He as well took the 3rd base in the back. For Terran, I feel it doesn't matter as much because you generally expand a bit slower as Terran anyways. And it's a bit safer to take, so it actually allows you to expand faster than usual. For the Protoss, you usually expand a bit faster, but therefore you usually have a lot more eco than just with the eco that we have here. So it is interesting, and you'll see Stats just going straight up to a 4th base as well, not slowing down at all at the moment with how things are going just now. So Stats straight up to a 4th base. Now you see Stim, Combat, +1 attack, all coming through here, and we are going to be seeing, well, Storm even coming in from Stats now, going into Charge as well as his follow-up here. So by going into Charge, it allows him to get into that real army, which is now going to be able to do some damage. That Cyclone drop was actually more influential than you might think. Because the Stalkers are at home, and because they're being kept at home, Stats hasn't been able to be out on the map to pick up information such as, is this army moving across? Are you kind of coming to attack me? He lost his observers trying to scout this out, and GuMiho has been able to get onto the map. He hasn't lost any Marines in the process like you might usually see. Stats, he is going to have charge for this attack, so that's going to be a big help. You can see the Stalkers now trying to come in here and maybe pick off a Marine or two, but usually the Stalkers are all the way across the other map to do that from the very go, as we are going to be seeing the tanks unloading, and that's going to be a cute little position because it is going to force Stats to defend on the right hand side, and that's his +2 attack upgrade, which is not going to finish in this game unless he commits in here very soon, and he's at least going to wait for Storm. And as Storm finishes, maybe he does move forwards. Actually, GuMiho on Sieges, and he doesn't go for the Forge. Oh, come on, GuMiho. That's such a great upgrade to deny when you're already behind on upgrades yourself. That would be something that could really help you out for the rest of this game. Stats has a few units on hold position, uses the force field here to trap those Marines in, forces the medevac to come around. This High Templar will feed back that full energy medevac, so that goes down, and a few Stalkers here will be more than enough to defend. Ooh, just losing the High Templar with energy in it for Storm as well, so that's a little bit of a shame. Guardian Shield pops, that means Stats is probably going to go for it. A couple of Widowmines at the front are going to be tanked by a couple of Zelds. The Storm on the Siege tanks rather than the Bio, probably because he wants to make sure he can get rid of those, but GuMiho is just going to push up this ramp. I mean, so many of these Stalkers going down, the High Templar falls, suddenly there's no splash damage left for either player, but that generally tends to kind of give preference to the Terran over the Protoss, although, that said, I mean, the Immortal count here is still good, a couple of them. The Stalker count is still good as well, so you can actually get rid of the Liberator. He'll get rid of the Siege tanks too. I need to get rid of this Liberator though. The Zelds just don't quite hold up. The Warp Prism will help to pull the Immortals backwards. 2 more Stalkers warping in. The Warp Prism micro is going to be so important here because these Immortals have to stay alive. He has to get as much out of them as he can. And this is going to be a defense from Stats. What a clutch defense. Absolutely incredible. As he pushes this away, the Stalkers blink down to the low ground. Widowmine goes down. How on earth did Stats hold this off? And he's got money to spend as well. He's going to get rid of the Cyclones. He's going to dodge away from the Widowmine shot. And those 2 Immortals, absolutely key. We talked about how important it was to keep those alive. He kept those alive while getting the damage out of them. That is exactly what we needed from Stats here in game number 1. To hold on and to stay alive in this. I cannot actually believe he's alive because he shouldn't be. He really shouldn't be. Widowmine targeted down. Liberator is down. The Stalker micro in the Warp Prism is just an absolute joy to watch. GG from GuMiho. He was so all in with this attack. And he was so close. I actually think the man, these guys are taking this seriously. Top 4 get $50 each, second place $100, and first place $300. That's the sort of prize money we put on the line for like a week-long event, for like a WardiTV weekly finals. You know, players have to show up for a group stage, and they have to show up for the actual playoffs. Today all you have to do is go through one bracket, and you're going to get yourself potentially $300 of prize money. And I believe you can also qualify into the main, into the Masters Coliseum, which is another tournament. It's crazy how much is going on. It's crazy. Anyways, to the bottom left-hand side, we have got our Red Terran player from Psystorm. He was so close to breaking through in the last game. I don't even know what begun to go wrong for him. It is going to be our Red Terran player, GuMiho. And to the top right-hand side, our Blue Protoss player from Splice, his stats. Well, if we get something we already have, well, we could do a giveaway where we just let you guys choose what you want if you win. Providing, you know, we have it left. You know, I've got a couple of StarCraft Remaster codes, I've got a couple of Co-op Commander codes, we have to use them soon, so it'd be cool to use them if we hit 350 subs today. Otherwise, I may use them somewhere else to promote something else, I don't know. I just think it's a fun little thing we could do. We'll figure it out anyways as the day goes by, as the matches go through. We'll see how close we get to hitting the sub goal. Might be one of those days where it's just very quiet, no one says much. Chat's kind of quiet, so we don't get many subs or something. Like, we'll see. We'll see what the day brings us. As we set up here, so interesting to see the Cybernetics core placed in this blocking position rather than just the pylon. I wonder if Stats has just played against GuMiho one too many times, and you know, one too many times GuMiho has just shown up with a couple of Cyclones down here, and he's just killed that pylon. And it's just like, cool. Unpower gateway, free pylon for me, and now I can drop around as well, and I can, you know, do some more action with the Cyclones on top of that, because it actually is a big weakness of the the pylon over here. It is vulnerable from this, you know, down on the low ground location, right? So it's kind of interesting as we see the Adept here going to be Corona boosted out of this gateway. And our first Reaper's coming across the map. We're at this stage of the game where the players are just expanding. We're just getting ourselves set up in towards the first game of the day, or the second game of the day. It's just really developing right now. Tech will start to be thrown down by Stats very soon, such as this Twilight Council coming into play. And this might be why he actually wants the pylon a little bit further back here, because so far he's only on, what, 2 pylons? Right? So if only 2 pylons, if he wants one on the natural to be able to build a shield battery quickly, if necessary, then he would have to build his tech on the low ground, or he's going to have to build his Twilight very close to the edge, or in a very obvious position. Now the Twilight's a little bit more central on the base, so it's a little bit safer in general. That's obviously going to go quite a long way, as we do see this Reaper coming around. He's going to scout the gases here. I didn't actually know this on Blackpink, and I sort of feel silly for not knowing it, but you can actually see the gases by putting a unit in the corner of this. You can see the natural gases, so you can check to see if Stats is taking gas, and that's a big telltale sign usually of what he might be going for in this game, of what sort of approach he might be taking. You know, will he be opening with a, you know, will he be opening with, like, you know, an all-in? That's generally what happens if there's no gas. Will he be opening a lot more aggressively? You know, is he really stacking gas early? That's all information GuMiho can pick up here with that sort of scout. So that's really cool. I feel like an idiot, because I feel as though this is probably common knowledge, but I just had no idea you could just place a unit here and be like, haha, I see your gases. It's kind of crazy. Well, we are going to be seeing how this continues. Meanwhile, guys, Forte did just pick up game number 1 against Ayasonu, so that game was actually pretty sick. I was watching it off on my side screen, and it was pretty good, as we're going to be seeing these couple of Stalkers taking down the Reaper. Blanked on the way up. Corona boosting away right now. And we are just going to be seeing the Robo facility from Stats going to be finishing up in the natural. So, just going to be seeing an Observer on the way out, a Barracks on the way up in the main base, Engineering Bay dropping down in the natural. And just continue to set up here to see just what's going to be coming out for the next few moments. Tank pops out into the natural expansion too. There's a Cyclone off to the side. The medevac up top trying to drop the Widow Mine in, but hasn't found much damage just yet. What's going to be seeing the Robo Bay is really interesting though, because that means Stats is playing completely differently to what we saw in game number 1. He's going to completely change things up from just that heavy Stalker count initially. Now he's going to be going instead towards a towards a Colossus base play, which is a little bit different. So kind of excited to see what's going on. As we see a couple of Stalkers and Adept coming down towards the third base, and just going to be seeing the +1 attack upgrade from Stats coming through. Again, no double Forge this time because he's thrown down the Robo base, so you can't afford to go Colossus and double upgrades. So just a single Forge instead. But it does mean that he's obviously not going to be as reliant on gateway units, since he isn't as reliant on upgrades. So it kind of makes sense as well, because these Colossus alone will be able to get quite a bit done. Right now this medevac is still just forced to kind of not really do anything. As GuMiho sets up, when he initially attacks there might be 1 to 2 Colossus. But, you know, so there's going to be 1 to 2 Colossus, but a couple of siege tanks actually do very well against 1 or 2 Colossus. If you can target fire them down, they almost act like, you know, they almost do the job of Vikings in these lower numbers sometimes. And we've even seen players such as Uthermal in the past play like Marine Tank heavily until the later stages of a game. And just use the tanks to target down Colossus to deal with that splash damage, which can be so very good against a mass of Marines and no other kind of, you know, no Vikings or anything else. So as GuMiho pushes across the map here, we are going to be seeing him getting ready to attack in towards this army. I'm just going to be seeing another couple of sentries on the way up. Stimpack and combat shields coming through here from GuMiho on the main base. We'll be finishing shortly to enable him to really commit to this attack. A few more Zealots going to warp in. Now we don't see anything from the Twilight just yet apart from the blink, so the Zealots are just there to tank whether they have charge or not. But the tank's going to be in range of this third Nexus, pushes Stats into a bit of an issue here. You know, now he has to start to react to this. He can't just sit around forever. Tanks have quite good range though. Maybe you can get the Colossus over here and fight. But I think in a moment he might just kind of move in anyways. Is that or he's going to actually just give up the base and just be happy with this 4th base over here instead? He pulls a few Stalkers around this side, so he'll start to pick off some of these units, but in general, the base just kind of falls. Nice scan gets rid of the Observer, so Stats obviously got to see this entire army throughout this, so he knew what was coming his way. And so knowing that, you know, he had his chance to react if he wanted to. He knew whether he could attack in or not. And obviously his decision here was, I cannot attack in. Now GuMiho sets up a third behind this, so his third comes up. I mean, Stats is going to have this base back up and running, so he's going to have a third backup essentially while the third base of GuMiho finishes. So the economies are going to stay pretty even here, and Stats does sit quite happily ahead on the work account. We don't actually have Game Hard enabled here, so we can't go into the graphs, but if we could, we would see that Stats would have had a little bit of a lead so far. Maybe GuMiho takes it back now because of a lot of Stats probes are obviously long distance mining until this Nexus finishes up. And there's that charge upgrade. Feels very late for charge, but again, it might just be something to do with the Colossus here. +1 attack finish from Stats, +1 attack finish from GuMiho are both going into armor upgrades now as well. The armor going to be more important for Stats now. Initially, the attack upgrades do a lot for the Colossus, but later on, the armor will do a lot more for the charge slots. Stalker's blink to make this a bit of a better concave. Has to pull further to the side, though he takes a lot of tank shots coming in, but 4 Colossus are going to be absolutely deadly. There's no target fire on them at all, and 2 Liberators just get taken down so easily. Wow, I mean, there's going to be blink on cooldown as well, right? So you can come forwards. He gets the 2 less full medevacs, so it's a little bit of a shame. But at the same time, Stats just killed so much and now pushing across the map. Already warped in a few Stalkers, the Warp Prism coming along as well. All he has to do here is warp in an extra set of units, and there's just no answer to 4 Colossus. I mean, 4 Vikings building at a time. But for 4 Colossus, you're generally going to be looking at about 3 to 4 Vikings per Colossus, so 12 to 16 Vikings to really fight this effectively. You can see that GuMiho is desperate. He sends 1 Viking forward to try and do something early. Wouldn't mind we'll get a Stalker kill here, a little bit of splash damage. It is an awkward position for Stats, because attacking in here, there are locations where the Vikings can definitely hit the Colossi without the Stalkers getting underneath them. But is that going to matter right now as the third base just lifts? The SCVs will pull on in. Zealots will take it to the front line. The Warp Prism here going to be targeted by the Vikings, realizing that maybe if you can stop the reinforcements, maybe that's the one way he wins this. But it doesn't matter. The Colossus alone are just so powerful, and you can see already a lot of those Vikings taking a lot of hits, and 4 more of them are about to show up. The Warp Prism going down again. Maybe it slows Stats down just a little bit here. Maybe it does buy himself for a few moments. I just think these Colossus are way too powerful right now, as we're going to be seeing the supply depots just getting taken down as the depots fall. Pushing up this round, Stalking Colossus is just going to be a little bit too good. I mean, the Marauder goes down here right away, and well, I mean, Stats doesn't even really need to push in just yet, right? Because he's already denied the third base from mine. He already killed a bunch of SCVs. From his point of view, the damage is done. He can fall back to 4 bases now. He can get himself another Warp Prism out, go up to Storm. He can secure himself this game rather than just playing for, you know, playing to win right now, which is one of the ways in which you definitely could just lose out if you're not careful. Because, again, obviously sometimes if you let the Terran player get back in the game, that would be a shame, but Stats just knows that he's far enough ahead with the damage he's done, that by adding on extra tools to his army, such as High Templar and Storm, it's only going to become a better scenario for him because he is mining more. The numbers just don't add up for GuMiho in a way which allows him to get back in this. I mean, arguably, maybe, if he starts dropping around and Stats lets him drop around, that would be something, but I think GuMiho's way too scared to drop around because this entire Thralus army is at the front of his base again. The Stalkers are still pressuring, so where's your chance to lift up medevac, your units into medevacs and push across the map? It just isn't there. And I mean, as well, if that even, you know, even if you try and go for that, do you even have a medevac count? You only have 2, and he's now making more medevacs because he feels as though the Viking count is sort of a little bit better than before. It's going to be seen Stats pulling back off to the right hand side just a little bit here. The High Templar backing away just slightly as well. A ton of extra gateways starting up in production as we do see this War Prism continue to come down towards the lower left hand side here, going to be joining up with the rest of this army. Going to see a few Zealots just warping in, and, well, you know, just going to be seeing Stats getting ready to push down this ramp perhaps, and maybe just go for it. He blinks in, he's going to get himself a couple of Vikings from the get-go. I obviously if those Stalkers just keep on targeting Vikings, those Colossus are just going to be so good in this. I mean, these Colossi have so many kills on them already. Storms are good enough, Colossus do the rest of the damage, and that is going to be GG. Stats takes the series 2 games to 0 to get us off to a nice, fresh